Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. Today's webinar is titled Practical Endpoint Security for Tribal IT Actions You Can Take Today. My name is Kaylee Kuhn from TribalHub, and I am thrilled to be here today with the team from Recast Software. We're going to get started in just a second, let everybody join in, but while we are waiting, if you wouldn't mind writing in the chat, let us know where you're joining from today. I am in our Gaylord office in Gaylord, Michigan, and then Fabienne is in Minnesota. So we are both in the snowy cold right now. Seattle. How's the weather been there, Janelle? I'm sure it's pretty rainy as always. No? Good. Look at all these responses. Everybody's coming in from different places. Oklahoma, California. Okay, awesome. Give everybody just a couple more minutes here. Okay, we're going to start getting started here. I will share my screen with you all. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started with our presentation. Special thanks to our webinar partner today, Recast Software. Our presenters are Fabienne Rodriguez. You will learn more about him soon. This webinar session will be recorded and you'll be able to view the recording anytime on our TribalHub website. You'll also receive an email with the link to this webinar, so feel free to share that with anyone on your team that might have missed today. And for today's top learning objectives, we will be learning about how endpoint management gaps translate into security risk in Intune environments, as well as how consistent endpoint actions improve security posture without adding additional operational overhead. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box or Q&A, and we'll make sure to get those answered for you today. And for our fourth and final slide, this is a reminder about our upcoming Cybersecurity Summit taking place this month in February, Florida. If you have any questions regarding that, please refer to our website at tribalhub.com, or you can contact me. And with that, I'm going to turn the floor right over to Fabienne. Let me get my screen down for you.
Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Let me just present my screen really quick. Sorry, just waiting on my... Okay, let's see. Let me know if you all can see my screen right now. Endpoint security for... let's see. Sorry, just messing with it right now. Let's try that again. Can you all see endpoint security for tribal IT teams?
I cannot, Fabienne.
All right.
There it goes. Now it's finally up.
Perfect. Awesome. Cool. Well, let's go over today's agenda really quick. Just some welcome introductions, challenges in tribal IT environments. We'll go over some solutions and examples. And then towards the end, we'll go over some of our free community tools. And then at the very end, we'll save some time for Q&A. And also, if you have any questions that come up throughout, feel free to ask away in the chat, and we can try to get those covered. So a little bit about myself. My name is Fabian Rodriguez. I am the technical community manager here at Recast. My background is a former sysadmin for Recast, where I was handling things like Intune operations, Entra, all the things under Microsoft's umbrella. And today I'm on on the product marketing team, trying to help our community users get the most value out of our community tools. And a little bit about Recast. Who is Recast? We are we make the modern workplace work. We help device and application management in the modern workplace. We help extend into Configuration Manager and Intune to help you with app deployments, compliance, security, and a little bit about Recast. Why Recast? We really do help try to make the lives of IT admins easier by providing them the tools to be successful and make sure their IT teams get those tools and also help elevate their end users. Some of our tools are our patching solution, which is helping deploy and update applications. We also have our right-click tools core solution that is a third-party extension to Configuration Manager and also Intune now. And just some high-level information about us. Our catalog is 7,000 plus applications. We serve 130 countries, and we support 60 million endpoints today. And just want to cover really quick, we have two product solutions. We have our right-click tools core solution on our left-hand side. That is our main product. And on the left-hand side, we see insights, patching, and privilege access, which are different modules. And then we have our application workspace solution as well, which is kind of a platform agnostic solution to deploy and update applications as well. Has 7,000 applications as well for Mac and Windows devices. But for today, we are going to focus on the right-click tools core solution on the left-hand side. I know that's a lot of words in there. I'll try to showcase as much as I can and talk about them. But what you can do today is leverage the right-click tools for in our community edition. We have a link here called bit.ly/right-click tools free edition. If you did want to go check it out, also when you log into our website, recastsoftware.com, it will be like one of the first things you see to download free tools. So also wanted to mention, we do work with other tribal communities. Here are some of the people that we help support and help within our right-click tools core solutions and other products. And let's go over kind of the tribal IT reality, some of the 4 core challenges. Right, not only do we see this in the tribal community, but we also see this in broad IT communities as well. So the first one being asked to do more with less, right? As we are, as maybe some of our companies grow, maybe other departments grow, you can sometimes feel like your IT team probably isn't. And then also, we're also hearing like co-managed environments are pretty complex when you're having to deal with on-premise and cloud solutions, and also Microsoft's shift to Microsoft Intune, trying to get their end users or their devices into Intune can sometimes be a little challenging as you're trying to juggle both those platforms. Another one is patching and deploying applications, right? If you are moving to Intune, one of the things that is a little bit challenging is the ability to deploy those applications, but also keep them up to date. That is where we help you out. We help automate that life cycle, and we also give you a curated catalog of applications for you to leverage and also keep them up to date. And one of the last challenges is maintaining a secure and compliant environment. If you're dealing with auditors, insurance companies, maybe you're just trying to secure your environment as much as you can as an IT admin, as an IT manager. Maybe your CISO team is like, hey, we want to make sure that we have BitLocker encryption enabled. We want to make sure that we're removing admin rights. All the things. It feels like the goalpost is always moving. So just wanted to, tackle those today. Those are the kind of things that we're going to try to tackle and see where we can help, where Recast can help, mitigate some of that, help you leverage some of our tools. Let me check the chat really quick if there's any questions? Let's see. Cool. No questions so far. Cool. Then I'll move over to our poll question.
Sorry,
Let me.
and I'm working on getting that up. Give me just another second here.
All good. All good. Go back to the previous slide, just to help people get understanding there. Perfect. So the poll question is, what different line of businesses do you and your IT team support? Tribal government, tribal healthcare, gaming hospitality, tribal education, maybe all of them.
All right, I'll keep the poll up for just a few more seconds so that everybody could take their vote. That would be great. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, perfect. I think the poll should be good now. We'll move forward and kind of try to tackle our first challenge today in those pillars we were talking about. Uh, cool. So we have some of this information. Sorry. Um, we see some of this polling information. I kind of want to touch this really quick. So it looks like majority of us are on the gaming and hospitality side, with tribal government falling behind. Thank you. Cool. So sorry, we'll move over to the first section. The teams are being asked to do more with less. This is one of the things we were talking about. Some of the challenges we're seeing is small teams with heavy workloads, manual tasks, and also difficulty scaling day-to-day actions. And I can kind of attest to that. Working in a smaller organization, sometimes you're having to deal with a lot of things. If you're fighting a lot of fires, it makes it really hard to focus on one thing to try to scale that. And also, if you don't have the proper solutions, you can potentially have manual tasks at hand as well. Um, and some of the solutions we can come up with is, right, try to automate that repetitive work. Um, and some of these are also kind of talking to how our products and the right-click tools or recast software can help. Um, some of our tools allow you to take bulk actions to handle tasks at scale, and also improving your visibility to reduce time spent searching for issues or trying to accomplish any tasks that come up. Um, and I'm kind of gonna go back and forth between some of this PowerPoint and some demos. Um, I I learn a lot by visually seeing, like, how do we take care of these actions. So the ones I'm going to mention in this demo are going to be bulk actions, taking action on multiple devices. I'm also going to touch really briefly on our patching solution called patching, right-click tools patching, just kind of go over overview of it. And what you could do today is, if you do leverage the right-click tools community edition, you could take actions on a single device, and I'll show you how that looks like. So let me pull up my screen really quick. Perfect. All right, so here we have the configuration manager console. If you are leveraging and managing your devices here today, I'm going to show you how we can leverage bulk actions inside of here. So if you have, let's take a look at our devices in SCCM. We see here that we have a ton of devices, and I want to leverage the community edition really quick. You could download this for free, and you're able to take actions on a single device. And if you go through our download, you should see the console extension in SCCM called Recast software. So for our free solution, we can take action on a single device. So if we right click, we should see the right click tools, and we have console tools, client actions. I'm just going to take a look at one of these really quick. Let's take a look at our security tools. Let's say BitLocker status, right? Say we want to check the BitLocker status of a device. We can see, hey, this one's fully encrypted, perfect. But if it wasn't, we could right click on the device and we could encrypt the volume, or if you need to decrypt it. That's great for a single device, but say you're working with an auditor and they want you to encrypt a group of devices. What we could do is leverage the device collections and say you have a group of devices in this collection that you want to encrypt. So what we could do is right click on that device collection, right click tools, security tools, and we can do BitLocker status. And we can see that it has all the devices in here in that collection. What we could do is, let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to highlight them. What we could do is right click on those devices and we can encrypt them not only on a single device, but all those devices in that collection. So allowing us to tackle that problem not on one device, but multiple devices. And the next one I want to show you really quick is our patching solution. And I just wanted to touch this one really, really quick because I will mention it later. Pull this up really quick. Go to our RMS server. This is kind of our engine where those tools live. If we can go to applications, we can see that we have a catalog of 4,600 applications. Just want to touch this really briefly. If we are working with, say, a single user and we want to deploy an application to them, pretty simple. But if we're working with multiple devices, we can leverage our application solution called right-click tools patching. Say you want to deploy to-do list to a broad scope of devices. Say everyone in your company uses to-do list. What we could do is deploy it through here, and it would deploy it to all your devices, whether you want it as required, or if you would just want to make it available to them in the company portal. So just want to touch on this one really briefly, as I will mention it later in the webinar. So let's see. Let me move. Cool. Perfect. It looks like Griffin has a question. If you want to pop in here and ask a question, happy to help. Or if you want to ask in the chat.
Yeah, sorry about that. I must have accidentally hit the raise hand or something. Yeah, I didn't have a question. I apologize.
You're good. You're good. Thank you. Cool. I'll move forward to the next slide. So we have another poll question. Let's see. Janelle, is that a question? Is that a...
It's a question. Do you want us to interrupt you if we do have questions and unmute
Sure.
as you're
Unmute.
going? Is that okay? Okay.
You can unmute. You can toss it in the chat. I'm happy to help.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. And let's see. And then this one's kind of, wanted to see where people's journey are to Microsoft Intune. Are you currently SCCM only? Are you co-managed between SCCM and Intune? Are your devices only in Intune? Or are you leveraging another MDM solution? And if you are leveraging another MDM solution, or maybe you're managing your devices with Active Directory, feel free to toss that in the chat too. Perfect. Cool. So we have a kind of a mix results here. We have some people in SCCM only. We have some people co-managed, Intune, and then we have a big selection of other. Just curious, are some people using? Perfect. So we have Joseph. Yep, Joseph. Standing up SCCM currently and standing up Intune as well, or phasing out SCCM and standing up Intune. Perfect. Perfect. Anybody else in that other section? Are you leveraging Active Directory? Are you leveraging like Manage Engine, Ninja One, other solutions? Just curious to see how those others are managing their devices today. AD, awesome, awesome. Ninja One, awesome. Co-manage, getting ready to stand up Tanium, awesome. And Ninja One, cool, perfect. Appreciate you all mentioning those. Cool. And then, right, some of the things that we kind of hear all the time too is another really challenging thing is solving the complexity of co-managed environments and the shift to Intune or even other MDM solutions, right? If you have workflows spread across SCCM and Intune, it can, kind of be confusing, right? If you're leveraging two different consoles, who is your source of truth? Is everybody up to speed with the knowledge on both those platforms? Do you have more people, do they have more knowledge in SCCM and Intune? So just really makes it a little bit complicated. And kind of mentioning to the conflicting device states, right? If you are, if you think you're leveraging SCCM, but the device workload is in Intune, right, can cause some sort of confusion. And just adding the complexity during those transitions, because if you already have one solution and you're having to leverage another, right, can really become a challenge. So what are some of the solutions? We have a browser extension that is kind of a work from our SCCM extension, as I was looking at earlier. And then we also now have an Intune browser extension. And you can leverage this even if you are using like Active Directory, as long as you have things such as like line of sight. If you are an admin on the other remote device and you turn on some things like remote WMI and leverage some sort of like, or turn on some firewall rules. I don't know them on the top of my head exactly, but I have some information on them. We can pass it along after. Let's see. And also just helping reduce the switching between consoles is really where our browser extension has been helpful for people moving from SCCM to Intune. So let's go back into the demos. I'll showcase the browser extension and how we can take actions on device, not only in SCCM, but also Intune. So let me share my screen. All right. So here we can see our browser, our extension here. This is for SCCM. So if you do want to take action against this device, we do have the browser extension. Perfect, great. If you are in SCCM, this is a great solution. But say you are, moving some of your workload towards Microsoft Intune. So I'm going to show you really quick that as well. So let's head over here. We'll go to Microsoft Intune. And then you can see up here in the top right corner, we have the recast right-click tools for Intune. This is only available today for Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge. And if we go to devices, let's go to Windows, and let's go ahead and click on one of our devices here. It's co-managed, right? Let's say some of the information is in SCCM and some of the information is in Intune or some of the workloads. So what we can do is right click on that icon on the top left, click on right click tools, and we can go to console tools. So if you wanted to, right, say you have IT personnel working inside of Intune, now they don't have to keep switching between different consoles. If they need to grab the system information for that device, you can go ahead and click on that. Let's see. Sorry, that was a different device, but here we have CSPC03. Right, what the IT admin can see is information such as the operating system, hardware information, their BIOS info. This is really nice. If you are, maybe running into trouble with software updates, you can see, hey, maybe they are at 99.9% of percent free, or total percent free, let's say 0%. That could potentially be causing an issue. And we can also see applications installed. We can uninstall them too if there is vulnerability in there. You can see the Windows updates to that device. If there are any recent updates and you did want to read the KB article, we can go ahead and take a look at that. Sorry. Go back there. Services on this device, if you are having trouble. I remember recently, I think I was having trouble with the Dell command update. There was a service that wasn't running, so I was able to leverage this tool and go ahead and start the service. But if you also just want to stop or restart services, you have that ability as well. Drivers, user information. So if you are working with a device and you do maybe want to get rid of some of the information, if they're offboarded, if they, you no longer need that profile on that device, we could delete that profile, and we can also get the user profile size. So let's see, it's loading really quick. We'll give that an Intune minute. And somebody did ask a question in the chat. Do you guys have good results using Intune for Mac devices? I personally did have pretty good results. I know Jamf is a little bit more like flushed out and ironed out. But honestly, I know our organization is managing devices with Intune and has had great results. I think it's pretty nice if you're trying to unify your platform. If you have devices in Intune and you're trying to get away from certain other MDMs, I think it does pretty well. You could, deploy updates using DDM. You can leverage, Microsoft has, in my opinion, I think Microsoft has really done a lot of great investments into managing macOS devices with an Intune. And yeah, they've definitely had a lot of releases within the past year and a half. So, sorry, got derailed there, but we can see the profile size is 7.18 gigs. So maybe we're having trouble with this space. This person's offboarded. We could theoretically remove their information if we didn't need them anymore, save some space on there. So yeah, just wanted to put that out there. This is a free solution as well. This is using your Enter credentials access level. So if you are an administrator on that remote device and you have some certain things turned on, like remote WMI, if you have remote registry, you can view other information on that remote device. So for instance, let's go check console tools, and I'm going to check if I can connect to see. I don't think I have the necessary permissions on that device, but we're going to check really quick. All right, cool. Yeah, I do have the necessary permissions. So I know that is a really nice functionality that people like in SCCM if they could leverage that with Intune. And somebody asked, can this help ensure devices stay compliant at scale, especially if co-managed? It can help. It can help you with certain leverage if you need to leverage certain things. But I think you really get the most leverage for like compliance devices in SCCM, and I will cover that a little bit later too. So thanks for the question. Let's go over to back to our slide again. All right. Another poll question. So it's a poll day. So thank you, everybody. Which parts of the software lifecycle do you struggle with? Identifying apps that need to be updated, creating packages, deploying packages to devices, or retiring old versions. And I think this one really is like, how are you handling your third-party applications deployments? Are you having an IT admin go to the computer, install them with their credentials? Are you using a third-party solution? So, and also like, what are the parts you struggle with? Sorry if I confused that. Cool. We'll give that a few more seconds. And I'll put up the next slide just to kind of go over it while people are finishing up there. And another thing that really is challenging, right from I'm sure tribal IT, but also just in IT in general as well, is patching and application updates. Not only like deploying the updates, but how are we keeping those updates up to date within our environment? So some of the challenges are, right, some of those are getting out of date if you don't have an application solution to create a baseline between all those applications. If people are downloading applications from different sources, maybe somebody's downloading Notepad 1.0 and somebody goes and updates and grabs another application, Notepad 3.0, right? So all these sorts of different update drifts as we kind of see here. And especially if people are updating when they want to, we kind of know as IT professionals that can kind of be problemsome. If somebody sees like, hey, you have the ability to update application when you want, it might fall out of the scope of being up to date as how your IT admins want it, which causes the difficulty to maintain consistency. If you are an enterprise and you want to be on Google Chrome 2.0 this week and the next week you want to be on Google Chrome 3.0, can be a troublesome challenge. And how Recast can help is we can help automate that application lifecycle. We can help you not only deploy the applications, but we can also help, if you want to deploy in phases. So if you want to deploy it to a pilot group and a test and a production, make sure that we're like, solving for the solution of like potential CrowdStrike. If you have the automatic updates, you don't know when that update's going to cause some sort of trouble. Another thing is we're able to deploy applications across both SCCM and Intune. So if you are managing devices on both sides, we can help you manage those applications on either end. And also we're going to help you reduce that drift of different applications to help improve that device health. So making sure that we're mitigating that risk of those vulnerable applications. Let's move over here. And just some really quick high-level information about the right-click tools patching solution. We help those manual costs because we're updating those applications for you. But we also give you that control of when you want to update those applications. We do have a large application catalog. So if you do have, business popular applications and maybe some other ones, they're likely in our catalog. and just helping you with proactive vulnerability defense, making sure that we're staying ahead of those out-of-date applications, or when they do become out of date, we're helping you patch those as well. Cool. So I'll go into the patching solution a little bit deeper here on this next portion. So I'm going to mention application updates and the automation portion, and I'll mention them in ConfigMem and Intune. So let's head over to that real quick. All right. So, sorry. So here on my device, we can see that we have our RMS server, kind of the engine of where the application management solution lives, or the patching solution lives. We have a module over here called patching. And let's go to settings really quick. We can see that this is set up for deploying applications in Microsoft Intune, but also in Configuration Manager. So if you are still working within both those environments, we can connect those as well. And if you have multiple Intune environments, you can, maybe you're in charge of hospitality, but also government, right? Maybe you have different Intune instances. You can connect those as well. Let's take a look at the applications available for us. As mentioned earlier, we have over 4,600 applications, a little bit over, just by one. But we can see that we have applications here. And let's say Todoist is one of the required apps we want in our environment. So we can select whether we want it in Intune and Configuration Manager. And today, I'll just focus on Intune really quick. You can either select that one application or multiple at the same time. We'll go next. And you can select the group that you want to do it to. If you want to, by all means, select all users. Feel free, but I highly recommend doing a pilot group first. But I have a pilot group, or I don't have a pilot group here, but let's say save and close. And then here's where I mentioned we can create those phases if you want to deploy an application to a pilot group, a test group, and a production group. So you're phasing those applications out. So let's say it's not a great example here, because I'm deploying to all users. But let's say we want to deploy it to our pilot group right away. And then let's create another group. Let's see if there's a pilot. Perfect. We'll deploy it to them, save and close. And then once let's say the deploy all users is our pilot group. It didn't do it really nice. Let's say our pilot group has to go first. They're going to get the application right away, immediately. And then after 2 days, we're going to make this application available to all our users. So making it for our IT admins to test and see the potential, like if there is any ramifications of that application, like that CrowdStrike solution a couple years, maybe last year, I believe it was, that auto update, I believe, was causing blue screen of death. So if we were able to test that with our pilot group, we would have been able to catch that first, saving us the headaches of deploying that to all our users. So kind of giving us that buffer between that. And then we can also do other information in here, such as advanced. We can see pre and post install actions. And we can also do like a cleanup. So if you are deploying Notepad, let's say to-do list 1.0, and the 2.0 is going to come out, we want to make sure that we are cleaning up the 1.0 and we are superseding that application as well. And we can do scheduling as well. Do we want to do it on Patch Tuesday? And let's see, let's go back to basic, don't save. And let's click here. Let's click on manage settings. We can see, like, do we want to make this application required for the end users, meaning they don't have to do anything. We are forcefully applying this application to the end user's computer. Or if you are leveraging Intune, we can put it inside of company portal as available for them to leverage and download when they want. So this could be great for, let's say, Google Chrome is an application that, some people will want, but not everybody. We could set it as available. Instead of deploying this to, let's say, 100 computers. Now you only deploy it to the 100, but only 20 people download it. And then we can also remove the user notifications. So let's go ahead and deploy that application, and we can see that inside of Microsoft Intune. Let's go over to Apps, Windows, and I don't think I have the to-do list here one, but I know the Adobe Recast application is a part of our application manager solution or patching solution. It used to be called application manager. Sorry for mixing them up. But what it does is we deploy that application to Microsoft Intune. We pre-fill all the binaries for that application, so you don't have to go look out for the install command. You don't have to go look for the uninstall command. We take care of all that for you, as mentioned here. We have a team of application packagers who takes care of all this for you. So the installer command, the commands are all pre-filled. The requirements are set up as well. And if you want to change them, you can. And they also take care of the detection rules. So taking that out of your hands, and then let's see. And then we can review and save and deploy that application. And it is converted as a Win32 app. So just wanted to mention that one there. Deploying and updating applications with our patching solution is available for both SCCM and Microsoft Intune. Somebody asked, is the process the same for deploying and managing company-owned cell phones? Currently, our solution only manages applications for Windows devices for a patching solution. But let's see, for applications, I believe for iPhones, you do have to connect the VPP or the Apple Store. I believe it's Apple Business Manager, where you can import that application from Apple Business Manager to Intune and then deploy it to your device. So hopefully I answered that question. I know we don't really help out with the cell phones, but I know I have some experience with iPhones. So let's go to apps, create, let's see. Yeah, we should be able to see it in the iOS Store app. I believe you do have to connect the Apple Business Manager enrollment in there somehow. So I don't know off the top of my head, but perfect. Thank you, Griffin. Cool. And then I'm going to head over back to my slide. Oh, sorry. I shouldn't have left. Cool. And then we have one more poll question. So I hope you like polls. Cool. Awesome. And this one's for up to you to decide, rank these security concerns in order of importance, implementing a zero trust environment, ensuring devices are encrypted, so on and so forth. No right or wrong answers. So it's totally up to your business on how you dictate that. Cool. Like I said, no right or wrong answers. Just really cool to see where people are, maybe prioritizing things versus others. They're all important. So like I said, no right or wrong. So thank you everybody. Cool. So let's head over to our last topic, ensuring secure and compliant environments. Right. What are some of the challenges? Ensuring that we're securing our devices either with LAPS, our identity with LAPS, or BitLocker compliance. I'm sure that if you are working with like frameworks or any sort of auditing solution, like auditing platforms, you might you might have to take care of some BitLocker compliance, or if you get to enable apps to remove privileged accounts. And I kind of mentioned this one. Some of the other challenges is like to ensuring a secure environment is making sure that the correct people have admin rights and we're not over provisioning those accounts. And I know it's hard, right? Because if you are an IT admin who has multiple things going on, if you could just give somebody the admin rights to go download the application, to go download the driver, right? Makes it easy. But we want to make sure that we are, ensuring that we're secure and compliant for our businesses, to try to mitigate that risk as much as possible. And I'll mention some of the solutions for us that we help with is one of the solutions we help with in our right-click tools core platform is BitLocker compliance. If we are working with an auditor and they're like, hey, I see that these 10 devices aren't BitLocker encrypted, what we could do is help you encrypt those devices with a few clicks. And also other ways we can help is helping remove those over provision administrator accounts, making sure that the people who are admin on their computers are truly the necessary users for that administrator role. But if they don't need it, we could remove those admin rights, kind of pointing towards that zero trust solution. So let me show you really quick a few different things. I did want to show you, how Recast can help you with those overprivileged accounts. Also, I'm going to show you some dashboard insights so we can see like that. One of the ones I'm going to talk about is BitLocker, so we can see that visibility as well. Let me pull that up really quick. All right. So in our enterprise solution, we have right-click tools over here. And we can go to BitLocker compliance. And let's go ahead and click on an OU. Let's do Recast workstations. There we go. We can scan that collection or the OU. And then we can see computers with stored keys. And then we can see non-compliant devices that don't have encryption. So we can see, say you're working with the auditor, you're like, hey, here's my computers that are encrypted, and here's the ones that are non-compliant. So what we could do is right-click on this device, click on right-click tools, security tools, and we could click on BitLocker status, and we could encrypt that volume right then and there. I don't want to do that live right now. I don't know whose computer that is. But theoretically, what we could do is select device collections or multi-select devices. If you're working inside of Microsoft Intune, use the dashboards. Totally up to you to use what method works for you. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to multi-select some of these. Here we go. Yep. So, right, we could multi-select the devices, right-click tools, security tools, and we could do BitLocker status. And these are just test devices, so they don't have a drive, but theoretically what we could do is encrypt the volumes and encrypt them through there. We can also do that through device collections, through our compliance dashboards. So just wanted to show you that really quick. And then I'm going to show you our privileges solution. Privileges is essentially we're removing the admin rights from the end users who, maybe are over provisioned. And what we can do, say you want to enable your admin or enable your team's What if they still do need a driver? What if they still do need a restart of service? What we could do is leverage privileges, which allows us to configure user rules. Here we go. We can do temporary administrator on the computer, administrators, and then we can also do self-service rules. So if you want to select, let's say you have a group of developers, you can toss them in here, and they would be able to self-elevate. They would just need to provide a reason. And another portion is agents. So we can deploy this to, like, say, a regular end user, and they want to update a driver. So what we would do is we could generate a code, and we can say, how long do we want this code to be valid for? Let's say we know it's only a driver update, so we only want it to be single usage. And we can say OS configuration change and driver install. We'll generate that. And we'd be able to give this to them once they get that UAC prompt when they try to elevate. We would pass this code over to them, and then they would be able to elevate. And it's really nice because we also have reports on that as well for activation codes. So we can see the person on demo 9, which was me, can create an activation code, and you can see this information in here as well. So let's see. And I'm going to head back to the, let's see, somebody asked how this is different than Microsoft's EPM solution. Microsoft's EPM solution is kind of guided towards Microsoft Intune. And then our solution is helpful in both scenarios, Intune and Configuration Manager. So if you did still have identities inside of SCCM and you aren't leveraging Intune today, you could leverage our tool. And we also have self-service groups. We also have reporting. We have like group rules. So let's see, I'm going to head over back to the boom. And cool. And then one of the last slides, don't want to slide for you, but some of the things you could take actions today is with our free right-click tools community edition. You can leverage this for SCCM or Microsoft Intune. You can take action on user or device actions. Take actions, again, mentioning in Configuration Manager or in Intune. And also, if you just want to see information on your device, such as BitLocker information, you can do that as well. So those capabilities are available for you for free today. And then what's next? Feel free to ask any questions. Feel free to go to our website, recastsoftware.com, and you should be able to see download the free tools. I think it's like one of the first things you do there. And then I also host a live training for our community users to get the best use out of our tools every first Thursday of the month at 10 a.m. So feel free to check out our website under, I want to say, events or webinars should be there. So yeah, any questions? I'm going to check in here in the Q&A, open, nothing yet, maybe in the chat. So yeah, feel free to jump in and ask any questions. I'm happy to help.
I mean, it looks like we had a question come through. Someone is asking, how do these tools fit into day-to-day workflows without adding extra steps or overhead?
Yes. So let's see. Is that in the open one? Sorry.
It's not in the chat. It was in the Q&A.
Okay. Okay. So the question, could you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Yeah. How do these tools fit into day-to-day workflows without adding extra steps or overhead?
Yep. So great question. So we are in addition to like Intune and Configuration Manager. So right, we're not really messing with those workflows. We are enhancing them. So if you do want to, like for Application Manager, right, or for patching, you can deploy applications with Microsoft Intune. So that is, we're not reinventing the wheel, but we are kind of enhancing that that story there. So where, right, it is a little bit have some limited capabilities with Microsoft Intune. But we have a team of engineers, team of IT admins who are like working on those solutions. So they're really trying to make it easy for you. And that's really the thing for us, is trying to make your life easier as an IT admin. So we really aren't trying to hinder your like environment or anything. We are really trying to enhance it by making these tools easy for you to use.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing that. It
Mhm.
actually leads perfectly into our next question.
Mhm.
Someone else is asking, where do you typically see the biggest endpoint security gaps after teams move to Intune?
Yeah. So I think, it really depends on your company. I know one of the ones that I was having trouble with when I was first moving to Intune was when I was leveraging Autopilot. I was making all my users local administrators, um, which, right, if it doesn't fit into your zero trust, or like if you're trying to remove admin rights from your environment, that can be kind of a troublesome. So kind of knowing those limitations, like I didn't know what I didn't know, but like leveraging tools like whether it's Microsoft VPN or Recast privileges, those tools were really making my life easier, because I didn't know that I probably wasn't the best to have local administrators on everybody's computers. But didn't know what I didn't know, and there's a great community out there that helps with those problems. So
Awesome. I think that wraps up all of our questions for today. Did you have anything left to present?
nope, that's all. I just want to say thanks to everybody for jumping on here. I really appreciate you taking the time. And I'm happy to help with any questions. If you do want to message me, my email is fabianr@recastsoftware.com. Happy to help. Anything Intune related. It doesn't have to be anything to do with our products. If you have any questions within the product inside Microsoft Intune, I've been working with it since 2020. So I've banged my head on a couple of times on some of the solutions. So happy to help with you. Happy to help you there.
Awesome. Thank you, Fabian, for sharing your insights. If anyone would like to get a hold of him, please reach out to us at tribalhub.com and we'll make sure to keep you connected. I also did drop his email in the chat for everybody. So please reach out if you need anything. Also look for the email tomorrow, and please share that webinar link with anyone on your team that may benefit from hearing this webinar. And with that being said, this has been such an amazing conversation. Thank you all so much for joining us. I'm happy you did, and I'm wishing you all a very productive rest of your day. We'll catch you on the next webinar. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.